There is no doubt that the upcoming Brawl Stars update looks incredible from start to finish. We have so much to look forward to. Between the Brawl Pass, Gale, free-to-play progression updates, pins, a new environment, and new skins, there really is just tons of stuff to make videos on and talk about. But today, I want to talk about something specific, something that not a lot of people are really discussing, and I think could be a game changer among game changers in Brawl Stars. Let's get right into it. First off, let's head back in time quite a bit to the release of Leon. Now, Leon brought something unprecedented and a little bit different than anything we'd seen before with his invisibility-based super. But Brawl Stars was not the first multiplayer online battle arena game. It is a very unique take on the genre, but it is a genre of game that has been out for a long time, and invisibility-based heroes or champions have been out for a really long time now. Leon was just the first one to make it into Brawl. And something really interesting is that if you take a look at a lot of the brawlers in the game, most of them fit into a sort of archetype that can be found in different variations in different MOBAs. I know for a fact that a lot of you guys watching this video have played MOBAs before Brawl Stars, and that you have specific things that you're looking for in new brawlers and very excited for to eventually release. And I have to say, I think the 5 seconds of footage we saw of this little guy, who I'm going to call Robo and Nano for the purposes of this video, proves that it fits an archetype that I'm really excited for, that I call the puppeteer. So let's go ahead and hop right in. First off, let's go over what we know. Robo has an extremely low HP. He has a ton of damage output with each attack, a total of 2,940 damage per shot spread over 3 bullets, which means each bullet does 980 damage, and it looks like his reload and movement speed are relatively slow. He has a very unique attack style and pattern, which may or may not be just for show, and we don't really know any specifics about it other than the pattern and damage output based on the 5 seconds of gameplay we got during the Brawl Talk. Still, we know that there's a lot more to see from Robo. In all likelihood, his star power and gadget weren't shown at all, and we didn't see his super either, at least I don't think so. Little bit more on that possibility later. So based on this, we know Robo is going to be extremely powerful. We know he's going to have a very high skill cap, and we know that people that are new to playing him probably aren't going to do very well with him because of that high skill cap. And by that, I mean he has a huge damage output, but a pretty slow reload speed, and he's definitely going to be difficult to use generally, but has a huge payoff for those that get really good at using him. Now we've basically gone over everything we know for sure based off of the gameplay we saw, but based off of his portrait, I think I can speculate on exactly what his super, and therefore his star power and gadget, will eventually be. And it is going to be a huge deal for Brawl Stars as a whole if I'm right. Similar to Nita or other summoners in the game, I think that Robo's super is going to be a summoning super where he'll summon Nano, which is his small little nanobot, where his super hits. But I don't think that Nano is going to be controlled by an AI like Nita's bear. I think it's going to lock Robo into the position he's in when the super lands, then allowing you to take full control of Nano until Nano gets destroyed. In other MOBAs, you can usually control both your hero and the puppet at the same time, usually by holding a specific key on the keyboard to control the puppet and letting go to control the hero. But I gotta be honest, I don't think Brawl Stars is ever going to cross the line of adding additional control sticks for new brawlers. I think that it's probably going to be pretty consistent in making it so you only have one control scheme that you can kind of customize to your own liking, but it's not going to change specifically for one brawler. So yeah, I just personally don't think they're ever going to cross that line, and that means that it makes a lot more sense to me that Robo's going to stay in the same spot that he was in when he launched the super, locked in place while you're in control of Nano. Now, how exactly will Nano's attack work and how powerful is he going to be? I'm not really sure. He could work a lot like a scout, only having a very weak attack or maybe even no attack at all, a very fast movement speed and a small amount of HP, or he could be pretty heavy on the firepower despite looking small and innocent in the beginning. Now, if I turn out to be right about that, then I do think I can also come up with what his star powers and his gadget are going to be. Generally, star powers and gadgets add some type of coverage for a weakness of a brawler or add on to their strengths, and in this case, I think it's pretty easy to figure out both. If I had to guess, one star power is probably going to impact Robo's weakness, which could be his movement or reload speed, just if I had to guess, and the other one's probably going to impact Nano's weaknesses, possibly giving him either a damage or HP boost, a lot like one of Mr. P's star powers does. His gadget would almost have to be a detonation, doing a large amount of damage and pushing back any enemies caught in the blast when Nano explodes. So yeah, we've basically seen about 5 seconds of gameplay from an unnamed brawler that I'm just calling Robo for the sake of this video, and I'm already pretty convinced since it's going to be one of my favorite brawlers in the game. High skill cap brawlers are always just fantastic to see. Just look up a high trophy Mortis or Dynajump Dynamite highlight reel. Seeing top players play high skill cap brawlers that they've mastered is a treat to watch. And as time goes on, we're probably going to see more and more of these sorts of brawlers as the game gets older and older, a case in point being Sprout, who is likely going to be a mainstay for top players in Brawl Stars esports. Now, just a bit of a disclaimer, obviously this is all my own speculation. I could be totally wrong about Robo's super. Nano could just be another AI controlled spawn, a lot like other summoned supers in the game. Another possibility is something Kairos brought up in a recent video where he mentioned a transformation based brawler, and I think that it's possible Nano starts out as what you are in game and eventually you use your super or meet some type of condition for him to turn into Robo and do the damage output we saw in the teaser. Still, I have to hope that Robo and Nano are a puppeteer style brawler duo that I talked about before, because it would add an entirely new level to Brawl Stars that we really haven't seen yet. In games like Brawl Stars, stealth can give you a lot of information by getting some risk. For example, if you use a Leon super and check out the enemy base, you can run into an enemy and get destroyed without getting any valuable information for your team. But in the case of Robo and Nano, your risk is playing the brawler to begin with. He doesn't have any survivability, a very short range, and probably is going to take a while to charge up his super. But once he does charge that super, you're going to have completely free, no risk information. If Nano gets destroyed checking out the enemy base, you still have 3 brawlers on the field. Nano was only a pawn. You come out of that exchange just losing your super, but gaining a potentially huge amount of information about enemy positions and supers. Potentially even triggering a mine or discovering where a turret is placed as well. Or maybe if the gadget is exactly what I think it's going to be, you close out a final kill by running down an opponent with Nano and using your gadget to detonate him, winning the match for your team. Oh, these mind games, dude. Okay, if you're not paying attention right now, make sure you watch the end of this match, because I actually still can't believe how much I messed with this Shelly. It was fantastic. I know this has nothing to do with the video, but I just had to point this out. It's too good. One other thing I really want to mention is how awesome this type of duo would integrate into Brawl Stars as a whole. First off, like I already mentioned, Robo and Nano give stealth-based gameplay that isn't in the game at this point. The style of risk and reward is very different than what we're used to seeing in Brawl Stars, and having something this unique could really shake things up. The synergy between Robo, Nano, and other brawlers and potential for great new strategies is also really interesting to think about. What if we're able to use Nano as a sort of drone, an expendable third member of the team, effectively adding a body to your team that can be immediately replaced when it dies, because Robo's still gonna be there. Unless Robo placed Nano in a bad spot, in which case maybe Robo gets killed by the enemy team and Nano ends up dying because of it. There's another risk and reward to locking down a brawler in any position on the map, even if it's well protected and hidden from the enemy, because it still could get found and destroyed. I think that we're seeing that a lot with Sandy's gadget at this point, because he's locked in position asleep for a few seconds, and a lot of time that just doesn't work out. There's a lot of interactions I'm super curious about and could be points of confusion as well. Will Nano benefit from 8-Bit's turret or heal from Pam's healing station? What about picking up gems? Does Nano have an infinite active time, or will he last only a certain amount of time before blowing up? These points of confusion honestly could be reasons why Supercell wouldn't do this sort of thing in Brawl Stars, but then again, brawlers have been introduced before that broke our current understanding of the game's mechanics, so I wouldn't say it's impossible by any means. Still, I understand any skepticism here. It does seem like it might be a little far out based on what Supercell has already done. An AI summoned super or a spawner super would make much more sense. But what if I told you months ago that there'd be a brawler that could make walls as its super? A thrower with a bounce shot? Or even before the gadget update, that there'd be an entire button added to the game that has insane potential for making high-level gameplay more interesting and dynamic? What if I told a portrait player on day one the game would eventually get turned on its side? Or that there'd be a button that would automatically shoot at the closest opponent and the game would get balanced around it? There are a lot of things that we didn't think were in the realm of possibility with Brawl Stars at one point or another, and yet here we are. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to talk about a puppeteer brawler when it really does seem like it could happen now. As you can see, there are tons of possibilities for what Robo and Nano can eventually do if it turns out they are a true puppeteer duo. Believe me, the second that I get the okay from Supercell to do a sneak peek on this brawler, I absolutely am going to be the first to show you. Hello?
Hey Chiken, Are you still editing that Robot Brawler Olympics once we can do that?
I'll be the second to do a full analysis of Robo and Nano and what they bring to the game. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to use code Chiken when buying things with gems in the Brawl Stars shop. I will see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day as always. Let me know what you think of Robo and Nano, my theories, and what your theories are down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Again, have a fantastic day. Peace.